WRTV 6 Indianapolis. This is Channel 6 News at 11 with Clyde Lee, Diane Willis, weather with meteorologist Bob McLean, and sports with Ed Sorensen. Now, live, WRTV Channel 6 News at 11.
Good evening, everyone. Well, as the Denver Broncos head home tonight, let's hope that their trip away from the Hoosier Dome is a little easier than their arrival was.
Yeah, the Broncos' Halloween nightmare really began before the first quarter. It started on I-465 on the northeast side when their team bus was involved in an accident. They were being escorted to the game by a motorcycle team when they encountered a slow-moving car in the left lane. The lead officer signaled for that car to move over, but instead it stopped. Two motorcycle deputies collided with the car, and the bus hit them. One officer, Thomas Elliott, was slightly hurt. The bus damaged too, but it managed to pull away and make it onto the game.
Few cities have gone to such dramatic lengths to dramatize a Monday night football game as Indianapolis did tonight. As early as 6 o'clock, hundreds flocked to Pan Am Plaza for a pep rally to back the Colts with plenty of homegrown pride, and Mayor Bill Hudnut was there in style.
We're going to give it to Denver tonight! Go Colts!
Characters added to the masquerade atmosphere, and the Colts cheerleaders helped warm up the crowd. Then shortly after 7:30, fireworks from the White River State Park splayed across the city's skyline, brightening the Halloween sky. Scores braved the temperatures in the 40s tonight to watch that light show and to see the city's sky ablaze in a festival of lights. Tonight's sellout crowd in the Hoosier Dome could thank 100 volunteers who spent a week assembling these face masks of the ABC commentators. Goal line to goal line at the start of the game, 61,000. Frank Giffords, Al Michaels, and Bob Deerdorf's Face the Nation, and the three sportscasters themselves played along with good grace. For Colts fans, it was indeed a magical Halloween. Well, sports fans and city backers are hoping for more than one night's worth of recognition. They hope that the right people will notice Indianapolis in its bid to host the 1992 Super Bowl. Clyde?
Well, some devilish deeds were discovered on the southeast side tonight. An abandoned farmhouse complete with satanic scribblings on the walls, located by police. What appeared to be blood also smeared on the wall, but it was later found to be tomato paste. Devil worship is not a crime, but trespassing is, and police are concerned about the findings, and they are eager to get to the bottom of this one.
I definitely am concerned about it because I am a parent of a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old. Yes, I have seen it on the street when I was uniformed, but not to this extent.
And it's scary.
It's different, yes.
The house owner says he's going to bulldoze the house and sell off the lots for a subdivision. The man who produced the terrifying War of the Worlds radio broadcast is dead tonight. John Houseman, who is better known as an actor, died just before dawn at his seaside home in California. He was 86 years old. Houseman also won an Oscar for his role as the stern professor in the movie Paper Chase. It was he and Orson Welles who collaborated on the famous Halloween night broadcast of War of the Worlds that sent thousands into a panic when they thought the Earth was being invaded by Martians. And 25 years ago in our city, the terror of Halloween night was very, very real.
Dozens of people died and hundreds were hurt in a gas explosion. They had come to the Coliseum at the Indiana State Fairgrounds to watch an ice show. And as Cy Jenkins reports, a quarter of a century has not erased that
Faded
horror.
and tattered are the newspapers Imogene Chandler has saved for 25 years. They tell of the night when she got her last rites but survived, when more than 400 people, including several in her family, were injured, when 74 others died.
My sister was right there with me, and her and I both had first, second, and third-degree burns. And Bob, his left leg was almost, Bob, my son, his left leg was almost blown off. His tailbone was broke. He had burns.
While the Hoosier Dome hosted its first Monday night football game, the Coliseum was practically empty, with only a few young hockey players practicing on the ice. But on that other Halloween night, the attention of the city, the state, and much of the nation was focused here.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you the following news bulletin. A few hours before many of these names are released until the next of kin are notified.
Yes, we felt that it would be helpful if the
We were cruising the northeast side, and a run come in on an explosion at the Coliseum. He walked in, first thing he seen was just chaos. There was people laying all over on the ice. You seen the fire coming from the pit down there where the seats used to be, and it was just one big mess.
I was a coroner, and I was a Republican fundraiser on Halloween Eve, and I got called. It was Yeah, and it just involves so many people. I mean, I had one friend was killed out there. I had another friend whose son was killed. Everyone in town knew or had a friend or a relative that was either injured or killed out there.
The coroner's office still periodically gives a slide presentation on the Coliseum disaster. They point out that what happened 25 years ago produced the county's first detailed disaster response plan, which is updated annually. But what happened at the Coliseum, they add, at any place where large numbers gather, could happen again. Cy Jenkins, Channel 6 News.
Sobering sights there.
Yeah, it really
Coliseum.
was.
A plea denied from an American held hostage in Lebanon. We'll tell you what Terry Anderson has to say next.
You'll also hear from the man who for many years personified the Halloween spirit in Indianapolis, but has now lost his Halloween home. Stay with us.
The man on the left has a car with plush interior, European styling, room for 5. The man on the right has all that too, plus front-wheel drive. But one big difference between these two cars is that the man on the left is still paying for his. The affordable Hyundai Excel, just $54.99. Hyundai, cars that make sense.
Mom, when Columbus discovered America, did his mom say, put it back? Well, these are new Jell-O pudding snacks. Delicious Jell-O pudding in a cup. No artificial flavors or colors, and fasten that seatbelt, Mom. There's 70% skim milk. What do you say we pick up 12 or 13? 2. 2 is doable, Mom.
New Jell-O pudding snacks. Pretty smart for a kid.
If you have hair that's lifeless, makes it easy to get lasting body. A style that goes flat, makes it easy to keep great waves. Only Lilt has sponge wraps that grip like ordinary end papers can't for smoother, quicker roll-ups. Limp to a beautiful, easy care perm.
Lilt makes a difference so easy.
If the world can spend $1 million to rescue 2 whales, then why not the same efforts to free the American hostages in Lebanon? Those words today from American journalist Terry Anderson, who begins his 4th year in captivity. The Islamic Jihad released a videotaped statement from Anderson, who also criticized the Reagan administration for not doing enough to free him. He says he's disappointed the hostages were not a bigger issue in the presidential campaign. President Reagan said tonight he thinks Anderson was saying what he was told to say. The former First Lady of the Philippines needs to raise $5 million bail. The judge set that figure in a hearing in New York City after she entered a not guilty plea to embezzlement. Both she and her husband, who remain home in Hawaii, are accused of stealing money from the Philippine government to buy 2 Manhattan office buildings. He claims he was too ill to make the trip. Both accused of embezzling over $100 million.
There's a new Gallup poll out, and it puts George Bush even farther ahead of Michael Dukakis, 52% to 41%. However, 25% of those polled today said that they may change their minds. George Bush, meantime, carried on a long-distance debate. Bush says that Dukakis finally admitted to being a liberal. He says Dukakis used the word himself yesterday. And indeed, Dukakis says he is a liberal, one in the tradition of Roosevelt, Truman, and John F. Kennedy. Talking before a group of women in California, Dukakis told the cheering crowd that he smells a victory. He says George Bush is on the wrong side of such women's issues as abortion, fair salaries, and affordable child care.
Well, if you can't make it to the polls on Election Day, the polls will come to you. The Marion County Election Board started its voting program for shut-ins today. The teams of election inspectors will travel to nursing homes or private homes to bring people the vote. The shut-in vote continues through next Monday. People wishing to vote at their residence need to submit an application through the Marion County Election Board by midnight Saturday. The number to call can be found in the blue pages of the phone book under Election Board. Embattled State Supreme Court Justice Alfred Prvarnik says he won't step down. Last week, a private feud between Prvarnik and Chief Justice Randall Shepard boiled over into the open. Prvarnik charged that there has been a cover-up of alleged alcohol and drug abuse by Shepard. There have been calls for Prvarnik's ouster since then, but he says he is staying and that the court can still work together.
We have our work to do. It's a serious work, and regardless of what personal feelings there are, I'm sure that we can do it. I'm sure I can do it, and I believe we all can.
So you'll stay on the court even if he's retained?
I have no intention of leaving the court.
Hoosiers will vote next week on whether to retain Shepard in office.
An Indianapolis legend spent Hallows Eve in the town of Greensburg. Sammy Terry has made quite a name for himself here in central Indiana. And as David Klugh found out, even though Sammy Terry was canceled by Channel 4 last month, he continues to scare his way into the hearts of generations of Hoosiers.
For the past 7 years, Halloween in Greensburg has been a unique experience. Not because better than half the town participates in the annual costume contest on the square, but because for the past 7 years, this man has been haunting the holiday here.
Oh, isn't this wonderful paradise?
For 27 years, the unmistakable Sammy Terry has been nothing shy of a Hoosier legend. 27 years of hosting Channel 4's Friday night lineup of the best and the worst horror films ever made. And with that look and that laugh. New ownership and new directions for Channel 4 have meant an end to Friday nights with Sammy Terry, but not to the character millions of us have grown up with.
What do I do now that the days of Channel 4 seem to be ended? Have coffin will travel.
Following the costume contest, Greensburg lined up for a closer look and perhaps an autograph from this childhood and maybe more adulthood friend.
Ever since I was little, I think I've been watching him. I've watched him ever since I was a little bitty kid. I just love his shows. I'm here.
And even though Sammy Terry is no longer on the air, he'll continue to be one of Indiana's most popular, most horrible celebrities. In Greensburg, David Klugh, Channel 6 News.
That's all right, I'd cry too.
You don't forget what you grew up with.
No, and he hasn't lost his touch at all, has he?
No, he hasn't.
A great night for trickers and treaters. Next, David James has the forecast for, well, today. Stay tuned.
You can't see them, but they're all around you, and there is no place to hide. But you can protect your family from up to 95% of these invisible threats, like bacteria, pollen, dust mites, and smoke particles. Get a Honeywell electronic air cleaner, because what you can't see can hurt you.
Get a Honeywell electronic air cleaner at Chapman Heating and Air Conditioning and Davis Huck Heating and Air Conditioning.
So what's good on TV?
Let's see. Catch the early bird specials at People's Drug, like this spectacular half-price special on a select group of boxed Christmas cards. And this family-size box of Kleenex facial tissue on sale for 99 cents. Plus, hundreds of additional money savers on sale now through Saturday at People's. Can't beat that. That's gonna be a hit. People's Drug.
The convenience you want.
The savings you deserve.
I think this trip is getting to Mom and Dad. They're acting weird.
TWA means Los Angeles.
They haven't yelled at me in days, and I haven't been that good.
TWA means Phoenix.
The other day, I caught them holding hands.
TWA means San Diego. Significant restrictions may apply.
You know, they're really pretty nice once you get to know them.
Today's TWA.
Patricia Seton Lawford is telling incredible stories about the Kennedys.
I don't think President Kennedy needed a pimp. I think he was quite capable of getting a woman by himself.
Entertainment Tonight gets the inside story from Peter Lawford's fourth wife, who says that the president and brother Bobby were both romantically involved with Marilyn Monroe. But can these stories be true? We ask the questions, you get the answers. Is she telling the truth? Find out on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Tuesday night at 7 on WRTV, Channel 6.
Well, we had a good time at 6 o'clock broadcasting from the Pan Am Plaza for the big pep rally prior to the game.
Chilly.
And the weather wasn't too bad. It was a little chilly, but it wasn't too bad.
Started to get real chilly right around sunset, but then we've had a little bit of a southwest wind. Some clouds move in, so that temperature, instead of dropping like a rock, at least it slowed down just a little bit. Right now, it's only about 45 degrees with partly cloudy skies and still that southwest wind at 12 miles per hour. And if you look through all these letters and numbers on the screen, there on the IPL building is ABC. Well, quite a treat downtown today. Low temperature this morning, 24 degrees, tied the record here in Indianapolis, up to 56 then for the high this afternoon. Now, when they were early this morning, our 24 degrees tied a record. About 10 other cities set record cold temperatures early this morning. Evansville, Fort Wayne, South Bend, some other places around the Midwest. And you can see by the afternoon hours, it was still below normal in the temperature department over most of the eastern, at least the northern part of the United States. But out west, it's warming up. All these yellow numbers here are record-breaking high temperatures, and there are about 9 of those. And the ones I could fit on the map here goes from Phoenix to Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, up to Boise, Idaho, and all the way up to Spokane, 67 degrees. So some warm air out there to the west. If we can just get it to move in our direction. As far as the way things are moving, though, well, we won't really see that movement come towards us with the warm air right away. There's a weather system way out in the Pacific that will eventually be pushing that warmer air towards us. But right now, it'll just more or less be out there in a holding pattern as we stay in kind of a holding pattern here. Low pressure area up here in the northern part of the Great Lakes is swirling around a little bit of a weather system here. That's the area of clouds that move through around sunset and are continuing to move through our state right now. And there were a few sprinkles of rain up in the northern part of Indiana, southern part of Michigan. We get a little farther north, and they're getting another 1 to 2 inches of snow showers up there in the upper peninsula. Now, along the Gulf Coast states, that's where they've had some heavier rainfall amounts, and that's where, if they were using a shopping bag for trick-or-treat, the bottom probably fell out in most of the Carolinas down towards the Gulf Coast states. Some soggy weather. It's been down there for the past couple of days. Now, by tomorrow in the afternoon hours, well, the way we'll be getting into that holding pattern as far as holding that warmer air out here to the west, low pressure area moves slowly through the Great Lakes. So tomorrow we'll have a northwest wind as opposed to southwest the way it is right now. That'll bring down a little bit cooler air, and we'll have mostly cloudy skies by the afternoon hours. Could even see a sprinkle of rain around central Indiana. And the colder air, still some snow showers going on over Michigan. But then as the week goes on, high pressure areas, there's a couple of them out to the west. They'll be building this way, and the winds will gradually shift around. So you can see some 60s out there in the Plains states tomorrow afternoon, and we might be up to 60 degrees here or so by the end of the week. But my forecast the rest of tonight, nothing near 60 degrees. In fact, the low temperature by tomorrow morning down to about 36 degrees, but at least not down in the 20s like it has been the past few nights. During the day tomorrow then, or rather later on today, Tuesday, we'll see some sunshine in the morning, few clouds developing as the day goes on. If those clouds get big enough, could be some sprinkles of rain fall out of them, up to 52 in the afternoon. On Wednesday, more sunshine expected there, but still chilly temperatures. Again, we'll start out cool in the morning, make it up to about 52 degrees in the afternoon. Then the extended outlook, well, at least we'll be marching up through the 50s, should be upper 50s, maybe near 60 on Friday, 60s on Saturday, but maybe a shower or two running through. Well, I guess that's what the witch is saying on the way home tonight. Colts' big victory, and everybody's happy. Even those nasty old witches are having a lot of fun tonight, I think. They saw that game.
Yeah, I think the witch cast a spell on the Broncos, didn't it?
She brought us luck. Well, what do you have to say about this game, Ed?
I don't believe it.
I don't either. There's no words for it.
I saw it, and I still don't believe it, and we'll show you folks the highlights. It could take a while to fit these all in, but good gosh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, so all we got's time, right? We'll be right back. Oh, what a night, Eric had. Be right back with sports.
When you've been injured, you deserve to be properly paid for all your injuries. Personal Injury Hotline helps injured people collect cash for all their injuries. Protect your legal rights. Call Personal Injury Hotline right now for a free evaluation of your claim. Your personal injury team will begin immediately to help you collect all the money you have coming. There is never a fee unless we recover money for you. Call 1-800-3333-LAW. The Personal Injury Hotline. Answer 24 hours a day. Call 1-800-3333-LAW.
Well, when I tell people that I work at a dating service, they typically have a lot of questions. And one of them always is, does that really work? That one never fails to take me by surprise. Matchmaker International has been in business since 1974. Thousands of people have gone through our program, and most of them are happily involved in dating. I mean, a great number of the marriages that you read about in the paper are our couples. So when I'm asked if it really works, the answer is always a resounding yes. Yes, it definitely works.
There's a duel going on at Taco Bell. The biggest appetites are shooting it out with our original taco for just 59 cents. All the tacos you want at a price you can handle. 59 cents each, all day, every day. When it comes to getting your fill for less, nobody beats the border. Taco Bell has a roller, make a ride for the border.
Did you know there's a new cat litter that's better than Fresh Step?
Oh, no. Go on. There is? Something better than Fresh Step?
New Fresh Step with advanced odor control. Freshens every time your cat scratches or steps. Well, is the new Fresh Step controlling odors better than ever?
Why, yes. Of course. Why didn't you tell me about this sooner?
New improved Fresh Step. Freshens with every step.
Well, for starters, Eric Dickerson set a club record for most points and a half, right?
There are so many records.
Take your pick.
You know, we could go on into the wee hours of the morning, which we're already in, talking about records. It's one of these games that there's so many interesting little facts if you're into that. Unfortunately, on television, we generally don't have time to do all that. That's what you find in the agate type in the morning paper tomorrow or today. But it was just a strange day all the way around. And I thought Dan Deerdorf made a great comment as the directors were searching the nether regions of the Hoosier Dome to find something to put on during the fourth quarter. He said, man, we would have been in big trouble if this wasn't Halloween. Can you imagine how they would have filled that time without all the masks to take shots of? Anyway, it's going to be a game and a night and a day that people in Indianapolis will remember for a long, long time.
Talk about it.
Yeah, good morning, folks. Halloween night at the Dome proved to be a howling good time for the Colts and their fans. For the Denver Broncos, it had to be one of the most fright-filled evenings ever. In fact, Denver's game films will be scarier than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I wouldn't even look at them if I was Dan Reeves. For the Colts, last night's performance had to exceed even the wildest expectations for their debut in prime time, the first Monday night telecast ever from Indianapolis. And the cream, does it rise or what? Eric Dickerson was primed, pumped, and ready. 12-yard touchdown run, 7-0. Colts take over at the 10 on a fumble. 11-yard touchdown run, 14-0. 60,544 masked men and women in the Dome. A record crowd for the Hoosier Dome going nuts. A rough night for John Elway. Sacked 3 times here early. This one by O'Brien Alston, the rookie out of Maryland. Dickerson, 21 carries, 159 yards rushing, exceeds the 1,000-yard barrier for the 6th straight year. That ties an NFL record. His 3rd touchdown in the first quarter there made it 21-0. Watch the acceleration here, 41 yards. Setting a Colt record of 4 rushing touchdowns in a game. This is mid-second quarter, folks, and it's already 31-zip. Second quarter, still, Gary Hogaboom. Watch Billy Brooks. The great catch, the juke, the fake. He's in the end zone. 53 yards, 38-7 as the Colts scored on 7 of their first 9 possessions. The Colts finished the half strong, the way they played the entire half. Chris Chandler, perfect bomb, 41 yards to Verdun, 45-10 at the break. Boogie down, Clarence. Colts led at 48-10 in the 4th. Albert Bentley, they dusted him off, stuck him in. 4 yards later, he's in the end zone, 55-10. Most points ever scored on a Monday night game. Most points scored in the NFL this year. Colt record for points in the first half of 45, 4 points shy of their all-time single-game record. Denver scored twice to pull within 55-23, but it was never even close. We win, we massacre the Denver Broncos. Now you saw Ron Meyer there shaking Dan Reeves' hand at midfield. Here's what Ron Meyer had to say, and I'm sure he couldn't even believe it either. Just after the game, we just got this videotape in. Ron Meyer, whose team is now 4-4 with the Jets coming to the Dome next Sunday.
Our defense really played well early in the ball game to create the turnovers, and the offense executing and taking advantage of those turnovers, creating, I think, 17 points off of them in that first and second quarter. Obviously, I thought the offensive mix was good. The combination of both Chandler and Hogaboom in the game, the ability to rush the ball well. And unfortunately, I've been on the other side of these types of ball games, and when it starts going that way, it's tough.
Made a mistake there, which is easy to do at 1 o'clock in the morning, especially if you're me. The Colts are not 4-4 now. They are 4-5 with the Jets coming to the Dome next week. Just an unbelievable day. You know, Sunday, Eric Dickerson went on national television and said he feels he's the best running back in the National Football League today. Well, last night he backed it up with his stunning performance on the Monday night game. Earlier on Monday, I had a chance to ask Dan Deerdorf and Frank Gifford how they rated number 29.
I think what Eric has to do now is pass the test of time. I mean, I think the great ones like Peyton and Brown, I mean, these are guys that put 10-plus years into this league, and Eric won't be remembered in their context unless he plays 10 years or so. But you cannot argue with what the man has done. He has earned the right to say just about anything he wants to say about his abilities.
I don't think he's arrogant. I think Eric just talks that way. I think he is the best running back in football right now. Jim Brown, in my estimation, is the greatest running back of all time, and I've said it over and over. I've said it to Walter Payton, who I think is a great football player. Maybe the best football player of all time. But as a running back, there was nothing compared to Jim Brown around at his time. There's nothing that I've seen yet that compares to it. The closest would be Eric, but he's a different type of football player. Jim Brown was huge. He wouldn't have to be any bigger. He was 6'2", and he played at about 232. He ran about a 9.600. He could high jump over 6'4", and he was an All-American lacrosse player. He only played, 9 years? Mm-hmm. And many of those years were 12-game seasons. Yeah. He put together incredible marks, never missed a game. He was, in my estimation, the very best. Had he stuck around a little longer, Walter might still be here trying chasing it.
Great to have the Monday night guys, the entire ABC crew in town. They did a heck of a job putting us on the map. So did the Colts. For the first time in 7 years, Notre Dame is back on top of the heap in major college football. Monday's AP poll has the 8-0 Irish in the #1 spot with 44 out of 58 possible first-place votes. The Irish figure to stay #1. They've got Rice coming to South Bend on Saturday. The rest of your top 10, Southern Cal is second this week with 11 first-place votes, followed by Miami of Florida. West Virginia creeping up. Florida State rounds out the top 5. Last week's #1 UCLA all the way to 6th after losing to Washington State. Then comes Nebraska, Oklahoma, Auburn, and Wyoming in the top 10. Second 10, Michigan is 14, and IU falls to, or I guess creeps up to 20 actually this week. They're tied for the 20th spot with Brigham Young, and that's a late look at sports.
Okay.
We'll have a complete rundown on that Colts game, all kinds of comments and stuff tomorrow.
And you know people are going to be talking about it.
Final look at Halloween next.
Get the right look for every occasion. Buy a pair from our fashion collection, get a pair from our premium selection for $1 at Dr. Tavel's Premium Optical. That's a promise from the doctor.
The 89 Toyota trucks are here. Get the scoop. Right. A 4x2 V6?
Toyota trucks are all new.
Your Toyota dealer has lots of 89s, and he's starting the model year with remarkable savings.
Outstanding.
So are the deals.
Right now, you can save up to $704 on option packages.
They're available now? Now. Well?
Hey, who bought the new Toyota?
See your Toyota dealer today for a remarkable deal on a remarkable Toyota truck.
Well, it's about time. You never kept me waiting when you were kids.
There's an animal in the kitchen.
Hey! Sugar Bear! Baron Bowls and the Super Golden Crisp cereal.
Oh, this stuff reminds me of the best years of my life.
Excuse me?
Oh, got my sports page?
New York beat L.A., but nothing beats my honey sweet wheat.
You remember that song you used to sing?
I can't get enough of Super Golden Crisp.
Don't quit your day job.
Breakfast is still better with the Bear.
Oh, how do you do that?
I think this trip is getting to Mom and Dad. They're acting weird.
TWA means Los Angeles.
They haven't yelled at me in days, and I haven't been that good.
TWA means Phoenix.
The other day, I caught them holding hands.
TWA means San Diego. Significant restrictions may apply.
You know, they're really pretty nice once you get to know them.
Today's TWA.
A game at the Dome, but it's still Halloween night last night, and folks were out in town as well. Local fire stations filled with little hobgoblins and witches, and lots of folks taking advantage of the free Halloween parties for trick-or-treaters. City police report tonight no incidents of treat tampering and only a couple of calls on vandalism. Since the police and fire departments began the Halloween night parties, a number of problems have gone down each year.
Oh, have a good night, everybody. See you.